Saint Germain, anchoring the energies. I am Saint Germain, and I come to be with you at this time, when you are about to experience a major influx of energy that is going to be coming in. Many of you are going to feel that energy. You are going to feel it just walking out in nature, and you'll feel that expression. You'll feel that lightness or that blissful feeling that will come over you, even if it is just for a moment, but it will heighten in your expression, it will heighten your consciousness and your vibrational frequency at that time. And then being able to hold that frequency for a little bit longer, and each time this happens, you'll be able to hold it a little bit longer, be able to anchor that light a little bit more. And that is what this is all about. That is what essentially the ascension process is all about, that you are able to experience this more and more, and feel the energies. Not only know about the energies, but begin to actually feel them, to feel them within you. And it is not just certain people that will be able to do this, but more and more will be able to the point where all those that are ready for the ascension will feel these energies, more and more, feel that blissfulness come over them. And that will be something you will want to hold on to. Just as you have had in various times in your life, when you have had that blissful feeling come over you and you wanted to hold on to it. But at last, you were not able to hold on to it for very long, because you were not ready to hold those vibrations, that higher vibration within you. But you are more and more now able to hold that vibration. And when you can hold that higher vibration, then those that have that higher vibration will be attracted to you. That is how this works. That is how the attraction process works. You raise your vibrational frequency and attract higher beings that have that vibrational frequency as well. And yes, I am speaking of those of the galactics, those of the agarthans, those that have that higher vibrational frequency, which will be attracted to you, and you to them, more and more and more. That is because of the energies that are coming into the planet, and will continue to come in, and you will find that you will be able, again, to hold those energies more and more, and experience them. Will everybody across the planet know this, and feel this? No, they will not, because many are not ready for this yet. They have not raised their vibrational frequency enough yet to be able to hold that energy. But they will experience it. But it will be in more negative fashion for many of them, because their central nervous system is not ready for this. But you, those that have been acclimating to these energies, are becoming ready for this more and more, and to hold these energies. And that is my message that I came to bring with you today. It goes along with everything that is happening in your third-dimensional expression as well, in the matrix, if you will. So much is changing. So much is in process of changing more and more and more. And you will find that these changes will begin to bring more and more people on board, you might say. More and more people will begin to awaken. That is the Great Awakening. That is what is leading to the first wave of ascension. And yes, there are those that are in that second wave, as you were in your discussion earlier, that are in the process also of moving into that first wave, because they are beginning to awaken, and more shall awaken, because, as the Republic of this United States or America comes back into being, into what it was originally intended to be, then it will grow. It will grow beyond the borders of this United States for America, and grow out into boundaries beyond the sea, even across the oceans, to encompass the entire planet. That is what this entire ascension process is all about, to bring the world together in unity consciousness. And you have those that are in place right now to begin this process of the new republic spreading everywhere. Be of good cheer, my friends, my brothers and sisters, because everything that has been happening up to this point is all happening because of you, the light workers, the light warriors, that have been the catalyst for bringing this all about and bringing those ones forward to lead the charge, you might say. I am Saint Germain, and I leave you now in peace and love and oneness. And that you continue to embrace these energies, and I use that term purposely, embrace these energies, as they come in more and more. March 2025 Energy Update, Fast Lane. This month's energy update has arrived. As we move through March, the energy shifts in profound ways. Healing, transformation, and higher frequencies are calling us forward. The slow lane is the fast lane right now. Slow healing and a need to rest and recover. We're strong in February and will continue in March. We are here to live and learn to sustain ourselves through these almighty times on earth, so attend to being slow with yourself in whatever ways you can, and restore when you can, as much as being asked of us both externally and internally right now. 0135, dimension jumping. Many are flipping between dimensions faster right now. The higher dimensions, psychic, intuitive, visionary, are very active in new ways for many. But also, people are going in and out of the highs and lows of life, but are quickly able to shift frequency as a result. Often, we go through a release inside ourselves in order to walk into the next height, or higher dimension we are being invited into. So remember, a low state can be followed quickly by a high. When you start to notice this dance is happening within you, it can become easier to be at peace with whichever point you find yourself on the journey. 5 o'clock, light for healing enters in March. March will bring in the strongest healing energies since the year began. This energy will be repairing, and so will also be disrupting to any destructive energies within us and around us. This bodes well for physical healing. But it can also be a disruptive force in areas where harm or damage are being caused to the balance of an area of life, or the world at large. 0922, reevaluating your relationship to self and others. Last month, I spoke about the feeling of disconnection from old habits or people, places, and things. This month continues that theme but with a more forward-moving intensity. Personal connections will be under the microscope. Relationship to your body, health, and well-being, and your way of living life. A big part of this is, how are we showing up in the ways we want to? 1212, freedom from self-suppression. This is a huge theme for this year. Where do we stop ourselves in life, and can we see how those inner bonds are breaking now? Many of us are in the final phases of long healing cycles around this area, and in issues or areas of life we have been struggling with for a long time. March brings even more illumination to what you are ready to finally free yourself from. Be patient with the process, it's a big one. 1502, 2 steps backward before 2.5 steps forward. This is one of the big themes of this year, and it will require a great deal of strength to hold our nerve during the process. This theme will show up in our personal lives, but also in global issues. Because of the higher consciousness at work on the planet now, there will be a continued disruption to any plans around the disempowerment of humanity, and much of that will come from people themselves speaking up and taking action, which leads to the next theme. 1826, despair, anger, and the boundary of no. As more begin to realize that others might not have your best interests at heart, there can be a despair and an anger that happen. The boundary of no will show up more globally as a result, and many of us will feel called to hold that energy in not just verbal, but also proactive ways. No can be a powerful act of self-care and expression of your alignment. But many of us were not allowed to say no, therefore it doesn't come easily to everyone at first. 2050, underexplored, old abilities coming forward. One surprise during this time will be old abilities coming forward. Either talents or abilities you used to possess but had been long forgotten, or past life gifts that you didn't know you had, but are so effortless when they appear in your life because you have a strong past relationship with these gifts. Life Tapestry Creations, it's over. Dear owns, it's over. You pass through the eye of the needle. Of course, many of you reading this message will declare such is inaccurate. You awake each morning worried about terrible things that might happen to you or others. Or you awaken with a numb feeling of nothingness. Nothing is meaningful or interesting, much less joyful. That all is lost in your former life, and nothing replaces it, especially joy or love. So, you have difficulty sleeping, and are anxious or frightened in your waking hours, similar to how you felt before you knew the results of a complex school test. What you do not yet know is that you aced last week's transition phase. You acknowledged multiple fears and erased them from your being. It is over. Now, decide what you wish to review, address, create, or find. This is a week of exploration, despite your fears that all will never be well in your life again, and all is lost. This week, you will begin finding your true self, which might be frightening given that what delights you now might not correlate with your previous joys or interests. Explore, define, accept, and find your joy. A seemingly impossible task for many. You are so used to fear and pain, especially given the past few days of discovering and clearing your hidden fears, that you doubt you can shift rapidly, or in some cases, at all. Allow yourself to flow into your new discovery mode, which might surprise you given that you no longer need to protect yourself from your hidden fears, nor do you want to follow social dictates. You are a new being with new needs and interests. Similar to how you might explore a large city you have never visited, discovering new interests and ideas. This week begins your new life, without hidden fears or agendas. Those who wish to remain of 3D will become increasingly strident in their views and actions. Not because they are stronger than those of the light, but because they are losing their power as more and more of you slip away into your new world. Many of you question that last message, because you want those of 3D to disappear immediately so that they no longer irritate you, or make you fearful and angry. Those of 3D are losing their power minute by minute, as more of you turn your focus from yesterday to tomorrow. A power monger or money grabber cannot function unless beings are available to feed their hunger. You no longer will feel the need, or the slightest interest in doing so. And so it begins. Not with a war or declarations of right and wrong, but disinterest with yesterday's news and antics. It is over not for you, but for those who relish the power given by 3D societies. Those 3D societies are shrinking, as is the power of those who wish to control them. Perhaps you will feel slightly disturbed by 3D antics. More importantly, you will find them childish and of little interest, not because those antics are right or wrong, but because they are not part of your new inner world. The 3D power mongers will fight to the end to maintain their power. The difference between now and historic 3D is that the number of beings acquiescing to that power will be reduced daily until the small cobra remaining will not be of much interest to anyone other than those remaining of 3D. It is over. Play, laugh, love, and ignore the fears prominent in your thoughts the past few weeks, as you deleted hidden issues, and accepted your new being in this new world. The world that caters to love and joy, and ignores old-fashioned power mongers, and those who wish to follow them. So be it. Amen. 7 Keys to Effective Mental Training. There's a certain group of learning activities that I like to classify as mental training. Because we're retraining the brain. It's got a lot in common with physical training. Learning a sport, or martial art, for example, but it's all about the mind. Some common types of mental training. Learning a language, studying an academic subject deeply, learning chess, or Go or poker or bridge, getting good at focusing on work despite inner resistance, studying history or geography for fun, memorizing a bunch of facts, like trivia, learn to become a writer, or other kind of creator. I've put myself through fairly intensive mental training in most of these areas. I studied chess and Go, attempted to learn a few languages, learned to focus despite my inner resistance, became a writer, etc. And here's what I've been finding are most important to getting good at this kind of training, which isn't easy. 1. Let yourself be a beginner and suck at it. When I start some kind of mental training, say I'm trying to get decent at chess or writing, I always hope that I'll get good at it really quickly. This is misguided, because as a beginner, I won't get even halfway decent for a long time. In fact, I'll suck at it for a while. That's expected. If you hope to be good in a short time, you're going to be disappointed and discouraged. So encourage yourself to embrace this beginner stage. You won't be good for a while, so let yourself enjoy the learning itself, as opposed to needing to perform well to enjoy yourself. 2. Immerse yourself. Sometimes people have hopes that they'll learn something in just a few minutes a day, or maybe a good long weekend of hard work. Neither of these work very well. What works is immersion, on a nearly daily basis. Imagine if you wanted to learn Italian, and looked at vocabulary flashcards for 5 minutes a day. Or alternatively, you could instantly travel to Italy for an hour every day. In the second scenario, you'd be surrounded by people speaking Italian, you'd be immersed in it, and you'd be much more motivated to learn. This works not just with languages, but with anything. If you surround yourself with good chess players and lots of games and puzzles, you'll learn much more than if you just browsed a book for a few minutes a day. Same with chemistry, writing, or high-performance focus work. You don't need to be immersed all day long. But you do need to immerse yourself regularly. I'd say 30 minutes or more on a mostly daily basis is the minimum for strong progress. 3. Be consistent with your training. The mistake I've repeatedly made over the years when I've taken on a learning project is that I give up when I get derailed or discouraged. It's hard to get myself back into it. When I give up, it means I don't get very far. When I stick with something for a long time, I can really impress myself. So a big part of the consistency I've found important is not giving up, even when you get discouraged. But another part of this consistency is doing it on a near daily basis. It's much better to study or practice most days of the week, say 5 to 7 days, than it is to do it once a week, or a few times a month. Small consistent efforts pay off with mental training. It's like compound interest, it compounds over time. 4. Let it be play. If you're grinding out your mental training, and it's just hard, you'll drain yourself. It becomes a shit instead of something you want to do. But the problem is you need to do hard work. The solution for me is to bring a sense of play to the training. If you're trying to get better at a sport like basketball, soccer, or pickleball, the hard training can be a ton of fun, because the whole thing is playing games. So make language learning, or studying an academic subject, or learning chess or writing, become that kind of play. It can all be a game. For example, can you make it a game to see how many language flashcards you get right every day, and try to beat or match your best score? Can you find a learning partner and bring a sense of play and humor to your sessions with them? It can be a challenge to find ways to bring play to your mental training. But I think it makes a huge difference. 5. Get over the fear of embarrassment. One of the biggest obstacles to learning is that we don't want to look or feel stupid. We don't want to make embarrassing mistakes. But of course, at the beginner stage, and even in later stages, we'll make plenty of mistakes. The problem is not that we are going to make mistakes, it's that we're afraid of making them. Making mistakes is a crucial part of the learning process, but we let the fear of embarrassment stop us. The key then is to let yourself make mistakes, and even let yourself be embarrassed. It's okay to be embarrassed. We're human, we make mistakes, and fall on our faces. A key part of this kind of training is learning to brush yourself off and learn from the mistakes. Encourage yourself when you feel embarrassed. Be proud of falling on your face. With practice, we can get over this fear, and falling becomes an integral part of our process. 6. Don't be afraid to do hard work. I said to turn the training into play, but that doesn't mean we should think that everything should be easy. We want to be able to focus and put in the hard work, because that's where the biggest gains will be found. If you're lifting weights, and you only do easy lifts, you'll still get stronger. But if you do sets of hard lifts, where you don't have any more to give, you'll get stronger much faster. The same is true if you are practicing for a sport. The athletes that give it their best will get better much faster. And the same is true of mental training. If you're being lazy about it, you won't progress very quickly. But if you're willing to do some hard work, you'll see impressive progress. 7. Use your stumbling blocks as learning tools. You're going to make mistakes, and those are your best lessons for growth. What holes in your knowledge or skills do these mistakes show you? What can you learn from them? You'll also find other stumbling blocks, fear of embarrassment, discouragement, frustration, and more. That's a part of the process. Mental training includes learning to deal with these, so that you don't give up. How can you train yourself to be better at each of these stumbling blocks? By just practicing. Let them be lessons in themselves. By using every stumbling block as a place to practice, you'll grow with leaps and bounds. Mental training isn't easy, but it's incredibly rewarding if you let yourself trust in the process and really pour yourself into it. Immerse yourself. Play in the midst of the hard work. And enjoy the process. With love. Leo Babauta. Zen Habits. The grandmothers keeping the lights on in times of heavy darkness. You are living in such times now, the grandmothers said, times of heavy darkness. Fear, anger, grief, greed, and ugliness now show themselves everywhere. In such times, anger lashes out and cruelty and mindlessness rage on. Very dark, they said, shaking their heads. In times like these, to keep your own sanity and help those around you keep theirs too, the only thing you can do is dive deep into the arms of the divine. Come to us, they said. Call on us, or call on any form of God / the source / the beloved that you love. Do that, and, as the divine holds you, rest in that embrace, and let the great peace and love flow out to others too. Be a conduit for love, a conduit for peace, for light. When you are assailed by evil in any of its disguises, if you attempt to respond to it, your words will not be heard. Dark does not listen, and its constant barrage of noise and confusion makes it hard for you to think clearly, to listen to the wisdom within your own heart. The world begins to feel crazy then and so alien that you can't find the ground under your feet. Dark energy operates that way, the grandmothers explained. It seeks to destroy, confuse, and dominate everything in its path. So at times like that, first come to us, don't hesitate, but turn to whatever form of the divine you love so you can get your grounding. Then, once you have regained your balance, hold the door to balance open for your sisters and brothers here on earth. One of you in touch with the truth of your being creates an open doorway to peace and understanding for multitudes. Be that one. First feed your own balance, and then from that balanced place within you, great good will come forth. Solutions to problems will come to you, insights will come, and so will peace. All of these will then automatically flow forth from you. So come to us, they said. Come to us first, and then act. Source: arrayofflight.com. The other videos are in the English video playlist. Help me spread the light, click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.